Well, how do you do? There we go. Maybe. Test. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. I think. Yeah. Y'all on my side, there's an echo. Just a little bit of an echo. A little bit. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe. It's like talking into a can sometimes. It's like every now and then. So, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing great. I am doing fine. Thank you for asking. So, today, the live stream. As you can tell. That way. Right there. Should I look? See those pictures? Those pictures right there? Okay. That is the project that I will be doing over the winter. The shed is not discontinued. The shed is put on hold. I can only do one project at a time. And for mental health's sake, this project is going to be it. The bike's obviously put on hold. Actually, the bike is kind of an interesting topic, really. So, the motorcycle, the 74 Yamaha TX500, there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3. There's 3 things left. Can you believe that? 3 things left to disassemble before the frame can be worked on. Now, the last couple videos I had made, I might have come across wrong as in terms of like, oh, well, you know, the neurosurgeon, you know, found brain bulge, I guess. At least that's what he called it. So it wasn't a mass, but it's a part of the brain that's bulging out, causing all sorts of issues, memory, eyesight, insane migraines. But I'm not gonna dwell on that. Anyways, my writing future is over. I get it. I've tried going numerous times in that direction and in any mechanical direction. Mind you, I grew up with a wrench in my hand. I just, you know, that was always my jam. But apparently not anymore. So I accept. Well, I acknowledge it. I accept it. And now it's time to just move on. Right? What's the AA term? Accept the things you cannot change and change the things you can. I might have gotten that wrong. Been forever since I had an AA meeting. I don't need them. I've been over 23 years sober. So, anyways, I'm assuming this live stream is probably going to go off the rails. In different directions. But like I was saying, my writing future's over. My driving future is in question, guys. The neurosurgeon was happy to know that the wife is totally not letting me drive because of said issues. I spoke about this in a video, my last video, so I'm not going to go into detail. Kind of is what it is. But so, in lieu of that, I needed something to challenge myself. I needed something to keep busy, and I needed something to have busy hands, right? Regular modeling, okay, well, is not in the cards. I don't do regular scale modeling anymore. My eyesight's bad enough where the little tiny pieces, you know, and they're fiddly, you know, and I can't do it. So, this, on the other hand, this next project I can, because the pieces are much bigger. Oh, much bigger. Oh, but motorcycle. There we go. I told you. Off the rail. Okay, so the 3 things that I have left. I hope you're not getting an echo, guys, because it does sound every now and then. It'll sound like I'm talking in a tin can. Now I don't know if this is like up too high. Maybe I should just tone that down a bit. There we go. Maybe that helps. I don't hear the echo, so maybe that's good. Hopefully I'm not even coming in low. Hopefully you guys can hear me just fine. So, Moto Bomb, Moto Bomb, Moto Bomb. Hey, all right, you got a cheerleader on your side, buddy. How do? I was just saying about motorcycle that there's three things left. Hey, two thumbs up. Appreciate it, man. Because nobody else was on here, so I was like, I have no idea how it sounded. It sounded like it was an echo at first, so I turned down the OBS volume beep, 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 on the audio input capture. That's the way to welcome your guests. I got you, man. I got you. And Motobomb. He's an amazing guy. Check out his channel. Like seriously, he does some really really cool stuff. Man, he's like, he does that. And if anybody didn't recognize that, for charades, that was like air guitar. Except he plays a real one. I'm the air guitar guy. Okay. I actually pick and grin with my flat top. I should actually get that out just to show you guys. Not playing, but just to show you guys. That thing's older than I am. Well, maybe early 80s, so I might be older than it, because I was a 75 baby. You are full of OBS. We're all full of OBS, man. And if you don't believe us, then we'll stream you at it. Your background is awesome. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. There's a reason for these pictures right here. Okay? And I will get to that shortly, so people aren't confused why a battleship of that proportion is sitting in the Wild West. Who knew? I didn't. So, the Yamaha. The Yamaha. So I got this down. Okay, so I explained it earlier. I can't ride it. Hell, the neurosurgeon don't even want me driving. Whatever. So I'm kind of like stuck. It's a bad place to be, but I get it. God says stop. This is the direction I want you to go in. It's safer, right? And who knows? Who knows? If I bucked the system, right, and said, big guy, you're wrong, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to ride it, everything will be fine, and then I end up getting into an accident on my first ride, right? I'm either dead or paralyzed. And then I'm going to be sitting there for the rest of my dying years going, I should have listened to the big guy. So I've learned this in the past numerous times. Doing it my way hurts. Doing it his way doesn't. I'm going this way. Yeah, literally, that way. So, anyways, back to the bike. So I may not be able to ride it. I may not be able to do a lot of the fixing on it because, well, when you got a train wreck of a body like I do, you have a hard time doing things. But I have just the rear tire to take off, the swing arm to remove after that, and the motor. Bare frame, right? 3 things left. That's it. Now, if anybody's seen the beginning of what it looked like at the beginning when I dragged it into my shed, you'll know that was quite an accomplishment. That's it for me, anyways. That was quite a freaking accomplishment to get it to the point that it is at now. Everything's been stripped down. Things that can be saved and reworked or rebuilt, they've been set aside. The things that are just literally junk trash, they've been cataloged for future buying purposes, on Evil Bay or whatever, and then hucked. But I've got everything prepared for the frame to not only sand it all down, but a buddy of mine put me on to this metal prep, okay, this solution basically, that once you do have a piece that's sanded and wiped off clean, right, you put this metal prep all over it, and apparently um, it is really good for the paint to adhere to. So that's the route that I'll be going. And I'd like to do, and I forgot it. I forgot it, but it's there. It's there. Powder coat. There we go. Is one of the options, right? Or right, then there's always the poor man version, and rattle can the snot out of it. And I think either one is viable. It's just what direction do I want to take it in. The rattle can is quicker and easier and cheaper, but is the quality and durability there? I don't know. I don't know. Get a big wheel for now. Be a kid, pedal up and down the sidewalk. That would rock. Oh my God! And having my 3 little ducklings behind me and their big wheels. McAllister's ride, right? Have our little plastic pistols. Said his way heals. Amen to that, brother. You ain't lying. Amen to that. Did you literally are saving that bike's life, and you're gonna be so proud of it, whether you get to ride it or not? Dude, not did. Oh, okay, dude, you literally is saving that bike's life. Yes, and that was the tug of war, the struggle that I've been having over the last year and a half, however long I've had this bike now. There's so much that needs to be done to the shed, to the bike. Financially, it's an overload. So because I can only get, and I'll be honest, I only get $65 a month for little play money. And that doesn't spread very good, right? It's like you either do A, B, or C. There is no do A and B. There is no do all three. There's none of that. So I have to pick a direction of where I'm going to go or how I'm going to use it. As it stands, I can't even afford the Halloween costume I was planning on doing. I was going to be Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is like my other. Okay, he's second. Darth Vader is my all-time fan favorite. Freddy Krueger is a very close second. Growing up as a kid, that was just always awesome. But no, so off topic. Anyways, I'm at a point with the bike where I'm okay to just walk away from it for a winter and be like, I'm cool. And that means walking away from the shed as well, because I'm cool with that as well. Because they both need to be done simultaneously, preferably, but that's not going to happen. So probably early spring, I'll end up working back on the shed. And maybe tinker on the bike a little bit here and there. As you well know, the north doesn't get warm until July. So this bike is a year older than I am. I wish it was a 75, my birth year, but it's a 74, close enough. And the fact that my boy, who is in the army right now, or sorry, he's still in boot, right? This week will be 3 weeks now. Let's see. Wait a minute. Well, let me do something real quick. Okay, so he was. See, August 12th. So 1, 2. Tomorrow. No, 3, 4. Okay, so Tuesday will be his 4th week. Okay? Tuesday will be my boy's 4th week in boot camp. I believe it's 8 weeks now. I'm not entirely sure. Boot camp was longer when I was in the mid-90s. Not sure why. I know I got there before the rest of my class. I was there 2 weeks, a full 2 weeks before the rest of my class. As the class filtered in from, we had guys from Hawaii and whatnot, which was cool because I was born there. I was like, woo, you know, shaka bra, right? You know. Anyways, um, the fact that it's going to be passed on to him, you know, the three, you know, I have 5 kids total. My eldest son is autistic on the extreme side, and has no want or will to even hint in that direction, which is cool. You know, everybody's got their thing. Uh, my second youngest, the one I'm talking about, that's in boot, he very much has a will. Matter of fact, he was the one that borked it on the Ducati over in North Carolina. He was showing off in a parking lot, trying to do wheelies and all sorts of stuff for like 3 little split tails that were just like giggling and like, ooh, ah, you know, and stuff like that. And he totally wrecked the bike. And it was, he told me what it was. It was a Ducati 1089. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. So, anyways, it was something like that. You know, it had like 4 numbers, 4 digits. You know, 1089, 1030. I don't know. That's the way it is. So he wrecked it. I told him, I says, man, if you could find a way to send it up here, I said, man, I'd be more than happy to store it for you. Nah, he got rid of it. He sold it. He says, nah. He says, he's going the path of his old man here, and like, oh no, I like the older style bikes. Good choice. My son was born at Crippler. So was I. The only pink hospital in the United States, made out of the granite there. It's hilarious, actually. Yep, Tripler Army Medical Center, Honolulu, Hawaii. My godfather, which was pretty much brothers with my dad. They weren't real brothers, but my godfather, he was also in the service, but he was a POW, and that really did kind of mess him up. But he baptized me in Pakai Bay, and his Amakua, God, right? Because Hawaiians are like, you know, indigenous people, right? You know, they have different gods for everything. Was the shark. So it's like, all right. So my Amakua is a shark from their religion standpoint. They say that I can walk in a pool of infested, you know, an infested pool of sharks or whatever, right? And not get bit. Not gonna test it. I don't care. Not gonna test it. So, but that to see my son highly interested in this motorcycle, you know, made me puff my chest out, and I was so proud. I'm proud of him anyways. I told him, I said, you could have chose any other profession. You could be working at Burger King, but as long as you're doing the best and you're happy doing it, I'm proud of you. Could care less if you go in the Army or not, or Navy or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. So, but going back to my kids, my other 3, my youngest 3, they really don't have. They have a want to tinker. Like my twin girls, they got a want or a knack to tinker mechanically. Like there's a hint of it there, under that ghoulish, you know, facade. But my other boy, the youngest, well, not youngest, he's 11. My girl's a 10. But again, he's autistic. He's on the spectrum, not as extreme, but he has zero want for that. So, and I'm cool with that. Again, it's not like everybody's cup of tea, so to speak. So, I'm hoping that you know, he still has that want, you know, after training and he gets settled, you know, and whatnot. He's going to be on the East Coast regardless, right? Special Forces. That's Benning Bragg, you know, all day, every day. So, Benning is where his boot camp is right now. I believe his training is also at Benning, and then his not AIT, but the advanced training after that, I believe, is at Bragg. I don't know. It seems like forever and a day ago since I spoke with him. And it's just, love my kids. Love my kids to pieces. Anyways, what father doesn't, right? So, putting that aside, now you know why I'm not working on the shed. Now you know why I'm not working on the bike right now. It is not forever. It is just set aside. Okay? So, hopefully I've cleared up that from the last video where I probably did say something to the effect where, well, I didn't mean to, if I did, that it was done. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say that it was like that idea, it has to be on the back burner because, mental health wise, I need to just focus on something else that I can do, right? And then my brain is an all in or all out. There is no half-ass, right? There's no wiggle room. Moto, you might actually just lost it. Relate. Thank you. You might actually relate to this, being a military guy. And again, I don't think I've ever said this, but thank you for your service, Moto. I do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. One vet to another. But soldiers are very much black and white. It's yes or no. It's left or right. It's forward or backwards. There is no let's stand still, right? You're motion. You're always, right? And there's reasons, but I'm not going to get into it. This isn't a military live stream, so. But that's how I look at things. So when I get into a project, it's not blindfolds. What do you call those? The horse blinds, right? Right? Where you're looking and hyper focusing. That's it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to give it 110%. Nothing's going to stop me. And I'll roll through anything that gets in my way. That works good in the military, but out in the civilian world, people get scared of you. I don't know why. It's all good. Relate, yes. And ditto, vet-wise and father-wise. Thank you. You too. One of these days, Moto, I'm not on StreamYards. And the only reason why anybody can tell I'm not on StreamYards is because I got all this fancy background, all this other stuff going on, right? To do it on StreamYards, you need to, the free version doesn't allow you to do all this funky stuff. You have to actually pay at least the minimum, right, to do that. I'm nowhere near even being able to afford that. Otherwise than that, I would love to invite people on a StreamYard or a live stream that I host. It'll be the Outlaw Saloon. It just won't look all fancy like this. So, but I'd love to have you on at one point, just to shoot the shit and shoot the breeze, or shoot something, right? Okay, so the reason why we're having this stream, let's see. One, the family's out of the house. That's why it's quiet. And that's why I can live stream. Because otherwise than that, I get knocks on the door, I get people going in and out, I get screaming, I get brother and sister having fist fights. And then daddy has to play daddy and fix it. So this is why I can live stream on weird times, because I cannot schedule anything to save my soul until the kids are older and I can actually be like, alrighty, this is the time, I'm going to do it. Every week, I'm going to have a live stream at such and such a time, right? When they're older. And it's getting close. But at the ages of 11 and 10, yeah. Don't blame me, man. You can have 6 peeps. Yeah. Shoot myself in the foot. Hey, save the foot, man. You need that foot for the bike. All right, either one's shifting or one's breaking. So yeah, rant. Yeah, I know. I watch these YouTube videos and I listen to other people, right? And they're like, you get people can adjust their schedules better, I guess, if you put a schedule. And I get it. I really do. It's just unfortunate in my position right now that I can't do a schedule. It is unfortunate. But in saying that, you know, it allows me some versatility, right? I'd hate to have a steady live stream where I come on here and for an hour. So, that would just be like, why am I here, right? You know. Although that might not ever happen to me, considering I never shut up. Yeah. The live streams that you hold though, Modem, are really cool. I love watching them. I love getting on there and at least shooting. Hey, you know, howdy everyone, you know, and then I'm usually stuck to listening because I got a lot of noise and you know, all over the place. So yeah, busy. Know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Anyways, so my next project. See it? See that? Yeah. That's my next project. Am I going to build the 1-to-1 scale? However, I will build a 196 scale. Oh, always great to see you. You too, buddy. Seriously. And of course, old Matt, sick, you know. Ray. Yeah, it's good to see you guys. No, shoot. No. Oh, yes, that. Okay, so, anyways, 23. Let's go back in time. Okay, let's go back in time. 23 years ago. Okay, this was literally the birth year of my first son. I knew he was being born. I quit drinking that year. And I started a project. Me and he's my brother-in-law, but I call him my brother. That's just the way. That's who I am. We've known each other, you know, even longer than that, and he's my brother. So, Carney, yes, Carney. Sorry, I knew I was gonna miss. I can't remember names. So, when I quit drinking that year, I needed something, and I knew I was going to be a stay-at-home dad. My wife at the time, this was my first wife. Yes, I was divorced. She liked men besides me. So there was infidelity on her part, and then of course everything went to heck in a handbasket. I ended up meeting my current wife, happily ever after. Great, now you're caught up. So, but with the last one, she wanted to be an RN. She was the CNA currently at the time. I had gotten out of the service, and I was still trying to find my foothold in society. Where do I fit in? Because I still to this day I believe it in my heart. I do not fit in to the civilian world at all. And I've come to terms with that. I'm completely fine. Back then it was more difficult, right? Because I wasn't even getting services from the VA at the time because they were dragging their feet. But saw a video. No, was it a video? Might have been a video. No, it wasn't a video. No, it had to have been a video. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyways, we got news or wind of this group that did RC warships.
Okay, so RC warships. And thank you for saying awesome sobriety. Yeah, I believe it is. There's been some challenging times between then and now, but we're still hanging in there. So, anyways, I heard RC warships, and I was like, what is RC warships? I loved RC back then. So I was like, fascinating, interested. Let's find out. RC warships is you get these big controllers that you would see people using for like RC planes pretty much. It's got little switches and doodads and this and that and just 1,000 things on it and buttons and lights and okay, so that's the controller. Then you put like guts into a ship. Be a carrier, battleship, destroyer, Titanic, who cares? You slap it in there and it shoots out 1/4-inch ball bearings. Now the smaller scales, the 1/44 scale, they shoot out BBs. But the 1/96 scale, which is much larger, which is the scale that I was getting into 23 years ago, they shot out 1/4-inch ball bearings at each other. And RC, so you had working propellers, working whatever that is, to turn, right? And say, woo, woo. Yeah, I wasn't in the Navy. So you turn it, and then you turn your boat, and you pow, and then and you know, and sound effects not included, batteries maybe, and they sink, bloop, 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 right? And then whoever's not sunk wins. I know you're sounding like, oh my God, that's a lot of money to sink to the bottom of a pond. Yes, but there are safety measures involved where the superstructure is made of foam and light wood so that it's meant to, once the water level gets to it and it's sinking, bloop, 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 right there, as soon as it hits the water, that comes up and it keeps it afloat. And then you just go out there in a canoe or whatever and you retrieve said sunken ship. Right? So now you're caught up with the RC warship. So that's what we did. I picked the USS North Carolina. Why? Because I think the history alone is absolutely mind-boggling. 15 battle stars, if I remember correctly. I got to brush up on my history on it. I used to know like everything about this ship. Absolutely love this battleship. Just tough, right? The Showboat, I believe, is its nickname. For a reason. Because this ship kicked Bootakis, man. Some bootay, right? Yo, I'm going to have to watch the playback. Hail to the Redskins. Yeah. Right? Is there another team? No. Okay, so hello to you, Moto. All right, cool. Great passion. Hey, thank you. And yes, firefighter. Absolutely love this guy. One of these days we just got to hook up. And I need some help, by the way. And I need to know your real name. But I need some help, firefighter, with some editing stuff. Right? Maybe some hints, tips, tricks, things like that. I'll have to catch you on a live stream and just go, blah, I'm going to bug the hell out of you. So, one of these days. So, Robert. Really? You look more like a buck. Right? You know? Robert. No, it's a cool name. It's a cool name. It's cool. Do you go by... you go by Rob or Robert or, you know, the big R? Right? You know? Are you like down with OPP? Yeah? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. This gets weirder the longer it goes. But Robert, all right. Eric, by the way. Eric McAllister. Aye, laddie. Yes, it's Scottish. I'm also Native American. So, who knew? That's a strange combination, don't you think? My grandfather, full-blooded Scotsman. My grandmother, full-blooded Micmac Indian from the Northeast tribe in Maine. So, that would make me a mutt. You sound disappointed. Yes, Robert. You rock. I'm just not used to calling. Okay, I'm just not used to the name. Robert's cool. Matter of fact, Eric is the one that sucks. I can't even think of a at least you got this, right? Rob. Yeah, yeah. Try to find a shorter version of Eric. What are you gonna say? Hey, E. No, doesn't work. I always hated my name. I always wanted something like really cool, like Jebediah. Nope, that doesn't work either. So, anyways, Redskins is right. I'm not offending. And you're not offended by the Redskins name? I am not offended by the Redskins name, officially now live on YouTube. A Native American saying, well, can I really call myself a Native American if my grandmother was full-blooded? Does that make me, what, a quarter? Is that enough to go like, power to my people, baby? Not offended. You realize the guy, that was the Redskin logo? The dude was, damn, I can't remember his name, but you can look it up. That was an actual Native American. Highly respected, highly regarded, and they used it to respect the Native culture. And then you have a bunch of old, saggy white people thinking, no, it's all right. I'll be offended for you, and we'll change it. You'll love me forever. No, we won't. So, I hated my... What? Dean? Dean is a dude. Okay, have you ever seen Supernatural? Sam and Dean? Dean is like the coolest one in the show. So, Dean, you got it, man. You got the name. You're all set. Women are just going to like jump all over you. Dean! Oh! And you'll be like, oh, no, I am not like that, ma'am. Or something like that. I could go by firefighter for short. Really? That for short? Okay, right? Yeah. So, I wanted my middle name Phil. Sounds better. Philip. Real. But Phil was tough. I wanted my middle name Phil. Dean Philip. Yeah, Philip. Yeah, that sounds... It flows better, actually, to be honest. Yeah, Phil was tough. Amen. Chief Blackfeet. Yes! Dean is a straight... See? Chief Dean. Chief Dean. Love it. I love it. But yeah, this was out of respect. This wasn't like, we're going to make fun of the indigenous people of the entire United States in the nation's capital. That would be... Woo! But... This is the last cup of coffee for the day, so I am enjoying it. Albeit, not as warm as it was before. No, Phil is tough in my brain. No worries. Oh, yeah, okay, gotcha. This is why I need StreamYards. Sometimes during like commenting, which is no different than texting really, people can like get confused of like the context of the comment. It's weird. Okay, I'm getting hooked. I gotta go. Have a great day. Hey, have a great day and stay safe, brother. Dean Martin. Okay, so one, John Wayne, the GOAT. I'll fight anybody who says otherwise. John Wayne, the GOAT. However, Dean Martin, there's a close one right there. That man could sing. Oh, I grew up just admiring his voice. Absolutely. Okay, so we're on Dean Martin. All right, we're going to stay here for a second. We're going to ponder. Okay. Rio Bravo, one of my favorite Western movies, which had Dean Martin, Ricky... I can't remember his name. Ricky... crud. No. What was his name? Anyways, it had John Wayne in it too. And it had an older fella. I can't remember his name now. But it was great. He sang a song in there with Ricky. God, that's going to irritate the fire out of me. Of course, I'm sitting right in front of the computer. I could technically do this, but I'm not going to. No, it's going to bother me. It's bugging me. Okay, so Ricky something. He was a singer. But he actually acted. He didn't act very well in the movie, but it was like, nah. But anyways, Dean Martin sang Purple Lights. It's a really beautiful a cappella type song. Even though the Ricky dude was picking at the guitar, very slow, somber, type song. Purple lights in the canyon, that's the place I want to be. Heading out to old El Paso with my rifle, my pony, and me. Purple lights, and it goes on, and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite songs in one of my favorite movies. It's like, oh, Rio Bravo, El Dorado was another good one that had John Wayne in it. Robert Mitchum was also in that one, and another actor, something Khan. Something Khan. I know his last name was Khan or something like that. John Wayne, all-time hero though. Yeah. And of course, he was like the epitome of like the good guy, right? Like if he ran for president, man, I would have been all. I voted. Ha! My main years before voting. My main years was the 80s. The 80s was my jam. So Reagan was like the bomb, if you want to put it in that context. To me, others may disagree, but he was voted in twice in a row, and the 80s were amazing. So, in some aspects. So, let's see. 85, I was 10. Yeah. He was already sworn in his second time when I turned 18 and I registered. My dad brought me in to register, and he was like, "What are you gonna pick?" When at 18 you have to register, for the draft service or the selective service or whatever the hell it is. Anyways, the Al McCad, it had Republican, Democrat, whatever, and I was like, I looked at him and I was like, "What's our family vote?" He's like, "Republican," and he was just like, steely eyed, and I'm like, "Check, Republican." That's how I became a Republican. Didn't have a flippin' clue about politics at that point in time in my life, and didn't care. I was too busy. I'd already been drinking since I was 11, and I was smoking a few years later than that. Probably more when I was like 15, 16. Again, I had a rough life, not the quintessential life that a lot of people have. Grew up rough, grew up fighting, and I mean fighting. I won a lot, but I lost a lot. But those are good learning experiences. Anyways, off topic. Let's rewind. Okay, back to that. Okay. So my next project, or my current project, is making a 1/96 scale of that battleship. Okay. This is not plastic. Okay. This is not, vacuum mold, or anything like that. This is not 3D printed. Well, some parts will be 3D printed. But anyways, this will be mostly 90% wood. Okay. Even the superstructure. And I'm making it from scratch. I'm doing it literally just like I did 23 years ago, except I'm not doing it for RC purposes. This is going to be well, like its name, the showboat. You know, this is going to be literally on its own stand under glass, and it is going to be the detail a snot out of it. Okay, because if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I know you know what I'm saying. He knows what I'm saying. She knows what I'm saying right over there. Yeah, they know, they know, they know. Anyways, what time is it now? I don't know how long I've been on here. 45 minutes. Oh, that ain't bad. Ain't bad. I can see some of the details in OBS. Now, my computer is ancient, so having anything run at 60 FPS is a no-go. Tried it once, and I think my computer was already tying the noose around its neck. It says, nope, can't do it. So I had to like, beep, boop, settings, okay? And right now, it's 30 frames a second, no dropped frames. That's a big thing. If there was dropped frames, that means the connection is just wonky. Today's a good day. Believe it or not, even on a Sunday, I'm getting a good KBS. My CPU usage, it's a little high, but it's steady. And again, I'm not getting any drop frames. So and you know, from what you guys says, it's audio's good. Pictures are coming in great. The what I like about OBS, since I'm talking about it, is I added the, oh, what is it? The image slideshow, right? And then you just add in pictures, and then you put it like however you want it. I looped it, and you know, if I close this out, I can go and I can restat it, so on and so forth. I still need to work on the intro and outro for this live stream, which is where I need the editing help. Because I don't edit. I've never edited. I've tried before. And I'm not saying I like never did. I suppose I can't say that. I have tried, but in my opinion, it always came out like, you know how you critique your stuff once it's done, and you're like, okay, I'm happy with that. I'll upload it. Okay, so you upload it. People are watching it. People are commenting on it and stuff. You rewatch it again for whatever reason, just to be like, yeah, you know, I like that. I like that. And then you're like, cringe. Oh, I should have changed that, and I should have. Oh, and the I should have start coming out and flowing out like a freaking busted river. Anyways, that's where I usually end up with my editing. I end up where I'm never satisfied, like at all. And if I put something out, then I'm like, yeah, it could have been better. I drive myself crazy is what it is. Oh my God. Speaking of which, my head's killing me. Now let me check over here. I got some notifications here. All right, so bingo, bango, bongo. Okay, hang on just a second. Expected Monday, September 15th. My Freddy Krueger glove, which is a metal. It's metal and leather. It's like a prop replica. And I was able to get it like really good deal off Evil Bay. Evil Bay, right? Oh, excuse me. Okay. Yep. Yep. It's cold. Still coffee. Still going to enjoy it. So, that's my project. It will more than likely the base. Okay, so when you start out, you have to cut out the keel, right? It's a single piece wood. Whoop. And you start out with a keel, and then you make a base platform, which I showed in the prior video for it. You make a base platform, and then you either temporarily screw a couple little wood blocks on either side, enough to put the keel in to keep the keel straight, right? So you make this perfect straight line. You can use that chalk line, that'll work. Or just, eyeball if you got a real good eyeball, right? Probably not. After the keel is laid, then you start tracing out the individual ribs, right? So, you're right, and they're ribs. They're not like a whole piece of wood. You have to actually make it look like a rib cage, right? So this is all cut out. So, and then you notch it, the very bottom of it, right? So you got this little notch, the width of the keel, and they sit. And you just wood glue, and make sure that you have something that has a 90 degree, 90 degree, to make sure that the ribs are not only straight across, but straight up. Think of it this way, like you're putting up studs, okay, on a wall, right? If you don't do it right, where the stud, is set right, your house is going to be, crooked man lived here, and you don't want that. And it's even worse on a ship model, because then you get a ship, then instead of like this, you got a ship that goes, right? And you don't want that. You don't want that either. That looks wonky, and you don't want wonky ships, right? Yeah, right. So from that point on, then I can possibly move the project from the furnace room to the man cave. So, which would be easier for me, because then I could have the computer and this and all this gobbledygook available in here, because I cannot do this in there. It has to be on my phone, which is awkward because I don't have a stand, for the phone. So hopefully that'll be this winter. This is not something I'm going to be rushing. This is something I'll be taking my time with, just like I did. It was 2-3 years easily for the last one. And the last one I didn't even go into detail because it was meant to be shot at, right? So you just get the basic stuff, the basic look of the superstructure, the basic look, of the ship and the turrets and the guns and stuff. But that was really about it. You didn't worry about putting railings on and little portholes and stuff like that. No. You didn't worry about stuff like that. I am now, because this isn't going to be shot at. It's not going to be plunked in the water. This is just going to be literally a replica of my favorite ship. Now, I had options to take this in many different directions. If you didn't know, I'm also an original series Star Trek fan. An original series only Star Trek fan. I didn't care for the other Star Treks. That's just me. I grew up on the original series. Ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. There was always the original series. Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock and Dr. McCoy and Scotty. Right? It was all those guys. I could have done a very, very large replica of the Starship Enterprise. These are the voyages, right? So I could have done that, and it would have ended up being 6 feet long, I believe 3.5 feet wide. Where the heck am I going to put that? Okay, as it stands, this is pretty big, but it's long, like a cigar box, and I could just right up against a wall, right out of the way. Something like the Enterprise would have been, yikes. Weird. Word? See, I can't see. Sick. I salute you, brother. How goes life down in Florida, in Gainesville? My sister, since she just moved down to Gainesville, she sends me pictures, poolside, and matter of fact, this morning she was like, it was rough. She went outside and it was like 70-something degrees. And I said, yeah, I went outside this morning and it was 33. whatever. It's fine. I'm glad you're happy. But I'm sure it's a great place down there, but I would not welcome the humidity. I hear horror stories of the humidity down there. And I'm like, no. I lived in Maine, all right, most of my life anyways, or at least my young adult life, and I did all my schooling up there. And I'll tell you what, the humidity sucked. Like you stay inside and you could feel the humidity obviously inside, your trailer home or whatever, I lived. Now mind you, I also lived in an apartment before we moved into a trailer home, and the apartment didn't have even a windowed AC. So you were embracing the suck 24/7, my friend, at 100% humidity. So it felt like it was like 5,000 degrees all the time. Steam coming out of you. Oh, sick. Oh, you didn't have to rub it in, really? I I thought we were brothers, man. I thought we were brothers. No, that's good. I'm glad you got good yesterday. 93. Hey, the low was my birth year, though. Yeah, all right. I like that. Cheers. No, I hope you're having a good day, Sick. I hope you're enjoying yourself in your nice weather. That's fine. uh, but yeah, back on topic. Yep, that's what I plan on doing. So eventually, it might wind its way up in the man cave once it gets to a certain stage where I'm done. Basically, the hard part of the cutting of the wood. The hull will be made of balsa wood, and if anybody knows about balsa wood, it's a very thin, very flexible wood, and that's what I used on the one I built 23 years ago, and I'll be using that same method for the hull sheeting, or the hull plating, I should say, on this. So, looking forward to it. It's a long process, and it's big enough where I can see the pieces that I get that are 3D printed down the road. They're big enough I can see them. They're not as fiddly as little scale model stuff. But yep. Oh, and catch you up since we got sick in here. My bike project. Hopefully, I didn't lead anybody astray, and if I did, it was by accident. It's not a dead issue, right? It's not a lost cause. It's just put on the back burner. I was told emphatically by a neurosurgeon that I can't drive. I can't ride it. And this was coming from a neurosurgeon who has 3 bikes himself. So he kind of knew where I was coming from, and he knew the news was going to suck goat nuts. Okay? And I've never done that, but I'm pretty sure it sucks. He says to the wife, he says, and I'm really happy, he goes, that you're not letting him drive. And I'm like, I'm sitting right here. Hello, yeah, whatever. So he can't surgically remove the piece of my brain that's bulged, which is the size of an extra large marble, right over here, which is causing all these issues. He did say that if he drained the spinal fluid, it might reduce the pressure that's mounting in my skull by draining it in my lower back. Yep, not exactly a fun process. Not a ride you'd see at Disney. Woo, I don't think there would be a line of people up for that one. But that's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter, right? These are the times where you got to lean on your faith. And boy, howdy, I am leaning. I'm just about jumping in the arms of Jesus right now. The hell with leaning. You just carry me. carry me. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. There we go. I said it. It's on live. There we go. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. But I say "but" a lot. That's a brain issue. It's got to be. I'm gonna blame it on the brain issue. But see, I did it again. Never mind. I'm just playing. So we'll get that started, and I would love, like I said, once I get to a point where I don't have to worry about cutting a lot of wood, or majority of it, and it's in here, I can do live streams while I work on it. And that's kind of like my future goal, right? Because I don't know about live streaming in the furnace room. I already get a crappy signal as it is, being down in the dungeon, right? The basement. Feel like I should have like an assistant called Igor. Yes, master. Does the herbal sciences help? I'm going to be completely honest with you, Sick. When I was growing up, it was myself, my brother, I wasn't even 18 yet, and a friend of his. We got a hold of a school bus, an old school bus. We ripped it clean, and we made it into a 3-stage growing room. And the very rear end of the bus, we put a small wooden stove and a bench seat from a truck and a couple other chairs that were in there. And we were the bus people, right? Locally known. But we had good stuff. And the techniques we had to grow, it was amazing. And of course, this was before they really started honing in on like extra use of electricity, because they would track it, right? Especially people that they figured were actually growing it back in the day. Now this was back in the late 80s. Yeah, it was the late 80s, very early 90s. And but we had stuff. Our soil was so rich. God, what did we use? I know we used guano because we got that from people in New York. We stopped dealing with the guys in New York, by the way, when they sent us what I consider a bad batch. It was laced. It was crystalline. I saw that and I dropped the bag and I was like, ain't no freaking, well, of course I swore back then, ain't no freaking way I'm smoking that crap. You're not going to just get high off that stuff. You're going to take a trip down Yellow Brick Road. You will not be here for a day or two. So I was like, nope. Yes, that's right, Sick. I enjoyed it purely as recreational. This was before I joined the military because I had to stop a year before. So I would say late 93. Yeah, it was late 93 I had to stop smoking the ganja, man, right? I had to stop smoking that crap just to be able to get in. It had to be completely out of my system. Because that was taboo. I wouldn't have been able to get in. And I wanted that. I needed to get out of that state, the state of Maine. It sucked. That's the armpit of America, as far as I'm concerned. Beautiful place, though. I mean, beautiful. Don't want to live there. I remember one night, Sick. That just brought back memories. I remember one night, we got done, the bus people. We got done, testing our product. we bought and sold, right? But I mean, we did it locally. We did expand, to other states, New York being one of them. Hopefully, like the FBI's not listening. You in there? You in there? Okay, maybe not. Yeah, no. No, without a doubt, dude. There is not a potato field or blueberry field where you could go and walk around the outskirts, and if you're not shot at, there's booby traps. And I know that sounds like something like straight from a flippin' movie, but trust me when I say these boys don't mess around. We didn't either, but still, you didn't, because that's where they would grow their stuff. They knew the corners and the back corners usually didn't get hit, by the tractors and whatnot when they were harvesting. So, but it was rich soil nonetheless, right? So they would always plant their stuff right on the outer fringes. And the farmers, they didn't care. They were out there to do one thing. They didn't give two Twinkies about somebody growing a separate field off of theirs, as long as it didn't infringe on what they were planting, right? But yeah, there was a lot of people that got seriously hurt. There was a lot of people that got killed, just because they were stumbled across something that they shouldn't have been seeing. So, no, I again, going back. Okay, so anyways, I remember one night, we were calling it quits. Everybody was going to bed. I don't know, 1, 2 in the morning now. And I got inside and I looked, and it was like the refrigerator had a golden glow around it. I was like, cool. Little did I know it was the stove light behind it. But when you're high in the kite and you're like completely not on this planet anymore, that refrigerator was the golden refrigerator that was literally calling to me to sit down. I said, okay. I grabbed a chair. I opened up the refrigerator. I sat just like this in front of the refrigerator going, where do I start first? And I just, munchies? Oh, hell no. Dude, this was full on. I'm going to eat the refrigerator itself. And I was super happy with myself afterwards. I got ripped into the next day, and I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't. Oh, I did. Blinded by the light. Blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a deuce, another roller in the night. Blind. Okay, no. Nobody wants to hear me sing. Anyways, but yeah, good tune. And yes, that's exactly what it was. Not even embarrassed about it. It was just, it was almost like a smoker's badge of honor. Give me a medal for eating half a fridge in under an hour. Thank you. That's how you do it. That's how we roll in the sticks. Oh, God, those were the days. But to go on the serious side now, the VA, many years later now, we're here today, the VA, because I had asked about it. I had asked about the, forgive me if I can't remember the exact name, CBD drops, I think they're called. I did research on those, and everybody that's done research on medicinal purposes says that people like me with PTSD, brain injuries, any injuries, any physical injuries, or even mental injuries, this helps. Boom, there it is, right? And the VA says, any trace, now mind you, they still do random piss tests on us. Dude, grown-ass adults that fought for this country, got injured for this country, they still do random piss tests. So if I was even caught with a smidge, this is what they told me would happen. I would lose all my benefits. My rating, everything, gone. My pension, gone. And I'm like, damn. Man, like, no warning, right? No, like, slap on the wrist, just gone. Go, right? You can't be back here anymore, right? Holy crap. I was told that, and I was like, all right. But I agree that it does do help. I agree that I have talked to other veterans that are in similar spots as me, that said they didn't care. Now, mind you, they had their stuff ripped away. But because they're still smoking, or because they're using the oils, or the gummies, or whatever the case may be, their life has improved. They were able to cope. I can see why. So I don't understand why the VA, right, doesn't go that route and at least like, hey, we're going to go that route, but we're going to, have it under control, as a controlled substance and do it that way. Like it's a prescription kind of thing. Nope. And I think it's the worst decision, in my opinion. There's a lot of veterans. I mean, we still suffer. Get this. This is what I think sucks, and I almost became one numerous times. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. I'm going to let that sink in. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. Enough so that they have a program to help prevent this. And you want to know what they do? Wild guess. Let's take a nature walk. Yeah, go hiking with other vets, right? Oh, that'll cure it. Yep. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't agree with it. But there's nothing that my hands are tied, brother. I'd love to sit back in just the privacy of my own backyard. Strike up a bowl, a blunt. I don't care. Couple puffs, and I'm good. Right? Get that edge off. Again, I was there. Man, if I could tell you how close I've been to taking my own life numerous times because of PTSD getting so bad, the depression so bad, where I thought the only way out was that, where if I had some CBD or whatever, I don't think I ever would have gotten to that point. That's just my opinion. So, dogs get CBD drops. They're also experimenting with microdoses of LSD and mushroom. Really? Now that's interesting. I haven't heard of that. Not with LSD and mushrooms, because those are very psychedelic, drugs beyond, token on a reefer. More coffee. Coffee. Oh, aren't we fancy there, Moto? That's a crazy place to be. I've been there. Yeah. No, it is for sure. I didn't mean to bring it up. It's just, sometimes I get a little passionate about certain things that are like, if it helps, why aren't you using it in a controlled manner? Why aren't the VA using it? And it doesn't make sense to me. Hey, Donnie, how's it going? Spamming your live stream. I don't care. Spam it, brother. I like spam. Well, I used to be able to eat spam. My stomach, at the ripe old age of 50, does not like a lot of salty foods. So, yeah, Donnie, it's been a while. I'm glad you were able to stop by, man. Yeah, it's scary. But, yeah. So, back on good topics and good vibes and feelings, because we're not gonna walk away from a live stream with boo-hoo feelings. This is not a boo-hoo live stream. This is a rock and roll live stream. Yeah. I should start sounding like Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh yeah. Right? Who remembers wrestling in the day, right? Randy Savage. Oh, come on. Anybody watch wrestling? Thumper, you gonna make it there, bud? Thumper, our rabbit, our resident mascot, is just flipping out. What are you doing over there? I got the door open. I'm surprised he hasn't come over here. But in the mornings, he usually sleeps anyways. All positive treatments, looking for positive outcomes. Absolutely. I think they've hit their mark on a couple of them, and I think they honestly are close to others. I know that's kind of a broad spectrum umbrella statement, but you know it kind of is what it is when it comes to this. I just wish the VA would change their tone about the usage. You can't even get a medical card if you're under the VA umbrella. There's no getting any of it. Again, one piss test can wreck it all. 80s and 90s, and some of the 70s. Vern G wrestled the Russian Bear for a title match in Fargo. Oh, sweet, sweet. I remember I went to see WWF at the Augusta Civic Center in Augusta, Maine, when I was younger, because that was the thing, and this was in the late '80s. So don't forget, the governor always shoots themselves in the foot. Yup. Seen Stone Cold here in the Hampton Coliseum. Oh, for cool. Yep. I no. When I was younger, when I was a youngin, I really enjoyed wrestling, and sometimes I'd get the was it the WCW or the ACW or something like that? I don't know, but it was some wrestling magazine, and at our local what are you doing? Well, now you're running. All right. Uh, at our local grocery store, and mind you, small town, you know, uh, Maine. So I they would have this little spin rack, and they would have a couple magazines and of course comics and stuff. And I used to collect comics, and sometimes I'd make enough money by mowing people's lawns, or shoveling driveways or whatever. When I was like 8, 9 years old, I'd go in there and I'd also buy a wrestling magazine. Like get it, I'd be in the know, in the know, you know. Uh, it's been a while. Yes, Donnie, it has been a while. I actually tried making a comeback, not a comeback, if you will. Mind you, guys, Donnie, these are the guys. Donnie is an old friend of mine. I call him friend. Still, we haven't spoke for a long time. He was with a modeling group called Hobby Time Modelers. Is still, sorry. And I created that group a couple years back, I guess. I don't even know. 2, 3, maybe? I don't know. Created the group, and because it spawned from another modeling group, and yeah, we were doing really cool. But there was a time where at the end of my stint, I was like, I couldn't do it anymore, and I was falling prey a few years ago to the depression PTSD crap, and I got low and I just quit. I quit modeling. I quit everything, right? And it was really kind of a crappy time for me, to be honest. But just recently, because of some invigoration, and I've been through a lot of therapy since then, I'm in a better spot in my life. So I'm not patting myself on the back, but kudos to God, my therapist, and myself for not giving up. I guess that's probably the best way to put it, because otherwise this stream wouldn't be possible, and I wouldn't be on this earth. Or at least I'd be on this earth, I just wouldn't be breathing, that's all. But anyways, Donnie, really good friend. I still consider him a good friend. I tried coming on one of their live streams not too long ago, see what's kicking, and there was a certain person on there that took, I don't know, he took it ill that I left and couldn't understand, and I couldn't, I just didn't need, I just wanted to walk away. He didn't like that, and the last video I made, he posted a very nasty comment on my video. So I was like, yeah, we're still at this point, and he's still crabbing about what took place a couple years ago. Nope, done. So I ended up blocking him again. Uh, This channel is meant to have good vibes, and anybody negative, I don't give two Twinkies who ya. Anybody that wants to leave negative comments, you're out the door. You're on your ass. Bye. And you are literally forgotten that second. I have no regrets or hesitation to do so. So Donnie, I mean, I know you're a good guy, but that's what happened, and you know who I'm talking to. You know, I'm talking about. I'm not gonna thrash his name all over the internet. I don't work that way. But if you're wondering, I started to try and post comments on your live streams, but I won't anymore, only because of that factor. But I do wish you all the best of luck on your live streams. I think it's kind of cool. I try to keep up with you. So, boom, boom. Let's see. It's been a while. Star Wars fan. Good to meet you. Oh, no. Yeah. He did. Donnie did R2D2. Not just a model, guys. This is R2D2. Like, one. Oh, Donnie, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this 1/2 scale? And it does the beep, boop, boop, with the lights and the sounds and like the head moves, and I don't know if like it moves, but I know the head moves and stuff. So, but he built that, and I can't remember from what company. You buy it in pats, so it comes patchwork. There we go. I think that's what they're called, patchwork. You get pats every month, and you put those pats together, and then the next month you get more pats, and boop, 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 and after like a year or 2 years or whatever it is, you have a finished model, and it's metal, and it's got electronics. It's all wicked cool. Yeah. Hey, thanks Moto for posting his link. Appreciate that. Good to meet you too, Moto. Thanks. Saw lots of R2D2 thumbs on your channel. Yeah, no, you're going to, because that was like a cool build. You were welcome to come hang out on any of our live streams anytime. I know, Don. I really tried. I came to a couple and I tried posting comments. It seemed like that person was kind of taken back by the fact that I was there, and then I unblocked him because I'm trying to like, let's good vibes. Come on, let's get some good vibes. He didn't show good vibes when he posted a really long, nasty comment on my last video. Just literally throwing me under the bus on social media. To me, that's a dirtbag move, and that I've forgiven a couple times. Not going to do it anymore. Well, I mean, no, I can't say that. As a Christian, I do forgive him. But it doesn't mean I have to have coffee with him. So, it's just one of those things. Has nothing to do with you, though, Don. If you need to talk, I'm still on Discord. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, you know what? After this live stream, I'll hit you up on Discord if you're not busy. Got Donnie's link. He don't want to talk Star Wars today, but cool channel. Oh, no, half scale. Okay, it is half scale. Fan home. That's what it was. It's been a long time. Always, man. I rescheduled all my lives. Oh no, sick. I didn't screw that up, did I? Sick. Please tell me I didn't like interrupt somebody else's live stream. That was totally not my intention. Because if I'm walking on somebody's time schedule, I don't know about it. I don't. Are you live like now? Sick? Because I can't tell. Again, if I did anything other than looking at OBS right now and started opening up another screen, the computer would die. I have a very crappy computer. But yeah, please tell me, sick. Hopefully I didn't walk on your live slot. Half scale is sick. Yeah, no, dude, it's cool, man. It's cool. Again, I don't know if it drives. It might, but it's like wicked cool. I tried doing it. I tried getting into the patchwork and I just couldn't do it. Even the monthly payments were too much for me. I just couldn't do it. I mean, it's not like it's like, I mean, okay, a patchwork model in its entirety may cost you about $2,100. At least a couple of years ago, I think that was around the range. So about $2,100 in the end. But you're making monthly payments, right? So you split that up, and with tax and all that other, shipping and things like that, it kind of works out to 70, $80, maybe in the high seven, no, maybe 68 to 75 a month, I think. Screw everybody's schedule, and no, you didn't. Okay, no worries. All right. If I did, I apologize. Again, this is so random when I do my live streams. Sometimes I just forget because I drive in one direction with my brain, and it's just like, oh, I got time, I can do this, so I do it, and then it's like, oh crap, I'm walking on somebody else's or whatever, right? So, but yeah, no, this is really good. I think I am going to, it's been an hour and 26 minutes, so I probably will get off. Again, I don't really have a proper outro, but I am working on it. And there's a YouTuber, Robert, goes by Firefighter on YouTube. Brother from another mother. I cannot be cool to save my life. Can you dig it? I don't know. I just vogued out there for a minute. I wonder if you can build the scale version. You can, but you got to do it from scratch. There's plans out there on the internet and videos that people will tell you, use this, use XYZ, blah, 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 and you can build an actual full-size version of R2-D2. However, if you wanted to build just the half scale with all the guts supplied, right? You don't have to do any of the thinking, okay? You just put it together. You read the instructions, it's all right there, and it's not just word instructions, it's picture instructions. So if you're like me, and I need picture book, right? That's perfect. It would work. What Six said, go live when you can. All right. But I will still try and stay mindful, I guess, of other people's live streams, because it's just out of respect. I do like the pictures I chose for the North Carolina, though. But anyways, Donnie, since you came in late, I hope you're still kicking around. I'm making the 196 scale. Yes, you heard it right. Sports fans, 196 scale. USS North Carolina BB-55, being the designation B for battleship. Anyways, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to have electronics in it. It's going to have lights. I don't know if I'm going to make the turrets move, because that is a complication beyond me at this point. But because of this scale, and because that it's normally used in RC warships, where you beep beep and sink other people, they do moving turrets with elevation control. So I'm thinking it's a possibility, but man. Maybe, I don't know. That means I got to get one of those beep boop joysticks things there. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to go that route. I really just want to make a highly detailed model, but big enough so my freaking eyeballs can see the stuff I'm putting on, right? Because that's what we need. So, and you realize this isn't even regular coffee. This is half calf. Half calf. That's sad. The doc, my normal doc, he doesn't even want me drinking coffee, period. And I said, I'm drinking coffee. Look, I've quit all my other devices, not devices. Rewind. I've quit all my other vices, but coffee. Say, well, coffee's highly addictive. Yep. Anything else, Doc? Still gonna have it, so whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it right there. Donnie, I'm gonna try and get in touch with you via what do you say? Discord, which is another beep 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 program. So I will do that, and I'm gonna call it quits, guys. An hour and a half. That's not bad. Not bad for an Outlaw Saloon. Everybody joined me for a drink, even though it's non-alcoholic. Virgin daiquiris all around. Oh, I never even had one. I was a straight drinker, right? A lot of beer, but the good stuff. I never drank from cans, always from bottles, right? Right, always from bottles. MGD and Bud Ice were the two that, if I was drinking beer, you'd see me drink in bottle only. I did not like the tinny canny taste of the canned beer. Gross, ew, ick, out. Beyond that, it was Wild Turkey. Yep, and Wild Turkey, believe it or not, at the ripe old age of 11, I had my first drink, and it was Wild Turkey. And it curled the hairs on my curlies. God's witness. Pictures will come later. Oh, nope, never mind. It's not that kind of stream. What the hell? So long, bro. Take care. Good to see you. Peace out, sick. Looking forward to hearing from you, Eric. Yep, again, I'll do that in just a minute once I end the stream. So, and I can't stop talking, so I'm just going to have to end the stream, right? Well, kind of end the stream. So anyways, peace out, guys. Have a good one. Stay blessed.